Gotta get my red pepper ready. Dicing this up real quick. Why? Because it's gonna go in my goulash. Ooh yeah. I wanna add some nice flavors to my goulash. I wanna make sure I incorporate as many good flavors as I can. Red peppers is a good way of adding some nice flavor as well as nutrients into my goulash dish. And I'm gonna use the whole red pepper. A lot of people, they don't use the whole pepper. They throw away the top and the bottom. I don't know why. They don't know how to dice or something. But this is what you do when you dice. See what I'm doing? Doing it so simple. See the knife skills? This is why it's good to have knife skills here. And you can learn those knife skills right here in my cooking demonstrations. All right, we're almost finished with my red pepper. And then we're gonna jump right into making today's dish. How's everybody doing? All right, Steve Foreman here again from Time and Honey, a company that we try to help people and educate people of how simple it is to make wonderful food in their homes by showing practical tips and little techniques to just help elevate people's cooking experience and cooking skill sets. And what I'm doing here is I was just dicing my red pepper that's gonna go on my goulash that we're gonna make today. And it's so simple and so good. So, goulash. We're gonna make beefy goulash. Now, again, it's a ground beef. And a lot of people will substitute it with other things. I'm gonna tell you, me personally, when I make goulash, it has to have ground beef. I don't want turkey, I don't want ground chicken, I don't want ground pork, I want ground beef. Now, I'll be honest with you, if you wanna kick it up a level, what I would do then, what I would also do is, I would make some braised short ribs, braised beef short ribs, braise them first, cook them, then make my goulash with that. Oh my goodness. You want to talk about flavor? Yeah! All right, here we go. So, as always, I want to emphasize the importance of my mise en place. Having all of my ingredients and my tools ready to go before I even start cooking. Why? So that way as I go through my recipe, if I was to follow a recipe, I don't have to stop and run to the store because I did not look to see if I had all of the ingredients ready for me to start cooking. So I have all of the ingredients that I need. I have my ground beef. I also have some garlic, which we're gonna dice up in a minute. I also have my diced onion, my red pepper. I have my seasonings, and I have my tomato sauce and canned diced tomato, and of course, my pasta, which I have to cook. And I actually got my water going right now, just so I can get my pasta cooking so we can finish up the meal after we start making the sauce. So, what we have going on here is all the ingredients are in place, and in my water for pasta, you wanna make sure you add salt to your water, and you want to add a little oil to your water. And there's reasons why. First of all, pasta is made from semolina flour, so it's a dry product. We know this. Pasta is dry. It's made from flour, and once it's dried out, you have to rehydrate it by boiling it in water. So what the pasta does, it absorbs the water from the cooking process that you're putting it through. So once you put it in boiling water, the pasta starts cooking by absorbing the hot water, and the flour starts to expand by absorbing the water. Well, what you want to do is you want to get the flavor of the flour through the pasta. And the only way you're going to really elevate the flavor of the pasta is by adding salt to the water, because the salt water will be absorbed by the pasta and it will come through when you eat the pasta later on once it's finished cooking. Also, oil helps from the pasta coagulating together, meaning sticking together while it's cooking. So the oil in the water keeps it from sticking together. So it's very important. And we still add a little oil afterwards once we drain it, again, because all of the starch that's on the surface of the pasta it will start to glue up. It'll start to stick together. So we add just a little bit more oil to it afterwards. Now, what we need to remember is the steps in making goulash. Goulash is more of like, it used to be considered a peasant's meal because of all of the leftover things that they would use to put into it, like the onions and just the ground beef rather than a steak or whatever. And so it became a peasant's food. But now, lately, it's becoming elevated. Like I said, we're doing goulash with different things. We're adding ground veal to it, and we're adding veal shank to make goulash, and we're adding braised beef short ribs to it, and all of those different things, which is becoming more of a classical, eloquent meal. But today, a simple meal for the family, very low budget, simple things that's very economical for us, and we can feed a host of people. But I think my water is boiling. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna add my pasta to the water. I got my water in there, pasta in the water, I mean. Now we're gonna let it. You want to just give it a little stir and then let it stick, but you'll see while it's in there, it's cooking away. And after that, while that's going, we're gonna get the base going, the goulash base. So I got a nice cast iron pan. I love cast iron. The reason why I love cast iron because it retains heat well and it distributes heat well. So not only does it retain the heat once it gets hot, it distributes the heat throughout the pan evenly. All right, now I got the pan on. Remember, you do not add anything to your pan while it's cold. You gotta make sure that the pan is hot. So I got it going. I'm making sure that it gets hot first before we get going. So why don't you come back over here, because what we gotta do now is we're going to peel garlic real quick that's gonna go in there. So I have whole garlic peeled, or whole garlic cloves. What we wanna do to peel it is you take the knife and you smash it down. You see that? Now it's allowing me to easily take the meat of the garlic out from the peel. Boom. And you got that. I'm gonna do it again. Oh. Ah! Lost that one. Man down! There you go. We're just gonna peel that garlic off the skin, throw the skin out, and there you have it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mince this up real quick. And I'm able to do this while my pasta is cooking and while my pan is getting hot to make the base of the sauce. So you give it a quick chop, just a nice little mince here. Perfect. And there you have it. Very simple to do. We did it real quick. Now my pan is hot. My water and my pasta is still cooking. We want it to be al dente, remember that. I'm gonna add now oil to my hot skillet. As we look at the pan and we look at the oil, we wanna make sure the oil is hot before we add anything to it. So we look for smoke point. We look for smoke to come from the pan. Oh yeah, you see that popping? You see that oil popping? Yeah. And we want to make sure we hear the right sound. So we want to make sure the pan is hot. Oh, I think I start seeing a little smoky coming. Yep. We're there, smoke point. Now, first thing, ground beef. That's what we want to hear. Remember that? Always want to hear that sound. Now, one of the things you want to make sure of, one of the things you want to do while you're making the base of the sauce is you want to keep chopping up the ground beef, because what you don't want is big chunks of ground beef. You want it to be granular. So what we do is we keep chopping up the ground beef while it's in the pan, so that as it's cooking, it will cook and it won't create big chunks of ground beef. What we want is it to be, granular. So that's why we keep chopping away at it. as it's cooking. So at this point, now I'm going to add my garlic. And my pepper, or my onions, and my peppers. There you go. And we are going to let this keep cooking as we keep chopping away. And this is just the base. Now we're going to look at our pasta. It's not ready yet. Not ready. Almost. So we have this cooking. As we have our base for our sauce cooking, and it's the cooking down, the ground beef, the onion, the garlic, and the peppers cooking down, we have our pasta also cooking. So that way everything's working together. And that way you can see how simple it is for you to just make a meal like this and do it on the quickness. But it's important that you have everything in place first. Diced onion, diced pepper, chopped up garlic, all of your ingredients, your spices, your pasta ready to go. Put the oil, salt in, water boils, throw your pasta in, right? Simple. What's more important is not overcooking your pasta, because what happens with goulash, after you boil the pasta, you now have to put it into the sauce and let that all heat up. So it's gonna still cook in the sauce. So you don't want it to be overcooked when you first boil it. You want it to be al dente. That way it will keep cooking when you put it into the, oh yeah, we're almost there. It looks like it's swollen. Yep. So I turn the heat off there. Take a look at my ground beef as that cooks. I'm gonna drain this. And I'm going to use the same pan that I boiled my pasta in. To finish the goulash in here. But that's what I'm going to do. So, make sure all the pasta's out of here. Getting all the pasta out. Because I'm going to use the same pan. So I got it here. Add a little oil, just a touch. That way I can toss the pasta. Okay? Look at that. Yeah. All right, now, as you see the ground beef starting to cook, what we're doing is making sure that everything's cooked in there. I can now add my seasoning, which I'm going to add my onion powder. I'm going to add that first. Nice little dose of this. My paprika, which plays a big role in making goulash, paprika. And then a dash of cumin to give it a little kick. We also want to make sure we're salting, the mixture, and pepper. Now we know, if you remember some of the other classes I've taught, why we add salt to food. Do you remember? So, salt does two things, right? It minimizes the bitterness in food when you eat the food, and it elevates the natural sweeteners that are in food. So, what's going to happen is, the bitterness could come from the tomato, which is acidic. It's going to be a little bitter. The salt will help to minimize the bitterness when you taste it. But also, the salt is going to increase the natural sweeteners that's in the ground beef, which is the fat inside the ground beef. The sweetness that's in the fatness is going to elevate because we added salt. So, that's what you want to hear right there. You want to hear all of that. And it's important to have the aromats, which is your peppers and your onion. They're called aromats. They provide a earthy, flavorful taste to your food. That's why we add them, along with our spices and everything. Now, if I wanted to, I could also, when I go to put everything into the pot to finish, I could also add a bay leaf. That will also elevate the aromatic flavors that I'm looking for. I could add a bay leaf, but we don't always have to add a bay leaf, but you could add a bay leaf if you have one in the house. So now as this is cooking and caramelizing, now to this, I'm going to add my diced tomatoes. Half a can of diced tomatoes. Half a can of tomato sauce. And I'm just going to let it cook there. Now, for color-wise, some people would add green peppers. Me, personally, I like the red bell peppers. They have a little bit more of a sweetness to them, where the green peppers got a little bit more of a bitterness to them. So I like the red peppers, but you can always add green peppers also to this. It doesn't matter. You know, it's your preference. It's what you'd like. But I would make sure that there are peppers in the goulash. So we've now allowed this to cook for a minute. We want to make sure we got all of the flavors incorporated. Now I'm going to turn my fire down a little bit. Take a look at that, huh? And what's happening is it's stewing. You got all of the flavors just stewing into the liquid of the tomato sauce and the diced tomatoes. So you got your garlic in there, your onion, your pepper, your seasonings, all just stewing into this. And make sure that you got your make sure you have your salt and pepper. So what I'm gonna do is I want to make sure I can taste this to make sure it's got some flavors to it, right? Needs a little salt. And it needs a little pepper. There we go. We're gonna let this stir around a little bit. Nice, incorporated, simple, economical. So now we're going to take this and we're going to pour it into the pan we cooked our pasta in. Now you might ask, well, why'd you do that? Why are you using two pans? Because I made the base of the sauce first, but now I got to be able to add my pasta. There I go, add my pasta. Let's see what we got here. I got the fire on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, you might say to yourself, that almost looks like spaghetti and noodles. Well, the difference that we have going on here is that the flavor component, right? It has the paprika, the cumin in it, so that makes it different. But it's very similar. Yes, goulash is very similar, but it has peppers and also. A lot of times people won't make spaghetti with red peppers, red bell peppers. So those are distinctive features that separate it from spaghetti. But of course, cultures borrow from one another. So a red sauce with pasta like spaghetti, similar to the Hungarian version of goulash. So everybody borrows from one another. So this is very similar. But now that it's mixed around. What you can do is cover this. You can tell the whole family, hey, come and get it. You did it though. You have the food ready to go. But I'm gonna show you a little trick that I do that makes it even much, much more flavorful. All right, so I'm gonna come back over here. Okay. Got my pan here. So look at the goulash. Take a look in there real quick. Let the people see the flavors that are going on there. What I like to do is kick it up a notch. I'm going to plate it up, right? A plate of goulash. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then what I do is, you ready? I put cheese on mine. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I just let it sit there. I'm just gonna let that bad boy sit there, let my cheese melt on that hot pasta. Take a look at that. Just zoom in on that bad boy. Looks amazing. Oh yeah, look at the steam coming off of that. Look at the picture of that. Come on, get that steam coming off of there. That looks awesome. Huh? So we've shown you how to make goulash and the proper way of putting it all together and just making it taste great and making sure that people, you can show how simple it is to just make that dish. The simple ingredients, flavorful, nutritious because you added all your aromats like your onions, your peppers. You have garlic in there, very good for your system. Ground beef, you know, as long as you're using the right leanness. I mean, I wouldn't get the 73%, 73 and 28% fat content in it. I would get the 90-10, which is 90% lean, 10% fat. That way you do have a little bit of fatness in there, but it's healthier for you. But I always make mine with ground beef. That's how I like it. I love that. So it's good to know how to cook, but we also want to remind everybody of simple skill sets we want to always increase in, right? So you always hear me talk about, hey, I want to show you how to cook, but what about how do I carry myself? Like, what kind of life skills do I have? What kind of professional skills do I have? So today I want to talk about another big issue that employers have with their employees is they would like to see that employees are willing to learn. That is a professional skill set that you've got to demonstrate, the willingness to learn. So here's the thing, your willingness to show you are eager to learn offers great opportunity for career success. So what happens is people want to know that you're willing to learn. So one of the things that you would demonstrate is there must be a demonstration of your willingness to learn. It means you embrace the new technology that your company is coming out with or they're going to use to make their company stronger. Your willingness to learn that technology or your willingness to learn new procedures allows the employer to know that you're a person who's willing to learn. You can illustrate your commitment by highlighting your dedication to growth and learning, meaning when you're a person that's willing to learn, you can use that to go to another job and promote yourself to get to a better company, a better job. Showing them your willingness by showing them how you're willing to learn by demonstrating the new processes you had to take on, the new things you had to learn at your old job, and all the new processes that you had to relearn and reuse and everything. So it's always good to show that. It's very, very good. I want to quote something for you from a person by the name of Brian Herbert. Very, very important. Listen to what he says. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. Listen, the willingness to learn is a choice. That's why employers really want to know if you're somebody who is willing to learn, because what you're showing them is you're making it a choice to want to learn more, which allows them to see you're a person potential for growth. One of the things you can do for yourself when it comes to learning how to be willing to learn more is just start educating yourself. Start reading more about what your company is involved with, or whatever your profession is. If you want to learn to be a chef like I am, start reading cooking magazines. Don't watch all these TV programs. Learn to read cooking books. Learn to read about food science. Do those type of things. Invest in yourself by also maybe purchasing a subscription to a cooking magazine, or go and take extra classes to learn about different things in the cooking field, or whatever field that you want to get into. One of the things is that what you're doing is, as you educate yourself, you're showing the company that you work for, you're showing them that you're somebody who is very aware of the new trends that are out there. You become relevant to that company. You understand what I'm saying? You're not living by the old past. You're somebody who's always thinking about new things and learning about new things, because that shows your willingness to always learn. And that's something that's very, very valuable. You have to show your dedication to growth. You have to show that to your employer. If you're a young person right now, you can still show people you're willing to learn. How? I'm going to tell you how. Why don't you start doing your homework every day? By doing your homework every day, you're going to start getting better grades. That means the teacher sees you've made a choice to want to learn more. You're showing you're making a choice to do better. That's what you can do. Listen, volunteer at your school to do something that you have nothing in common. Like, let's say, volunteer to do theater, help build the props, and do all those things. Learn about that. That's showing your willingness to learn. And by you doing that, you may never get on stage, but you help build the props that are on stage. Therefore, you are willing to show you're willing to show them that you want to learn more. You're willing to learn more things, and you're willing to learn outside your comfort zone, your box that sometimes we get ourselves stuck in. Do those type of things. What you help to do is you become self-motivated to learn more and more. The more you do that, the more companies will be pleased and helping you grow your career, because you're more accepting and keeping up with current trends and technology, and you're keeping up with showing the willingness, which is a choice, to always learn more. So I want you to think about those things when it comes to the willingness to learn. That is a huge professional skill set that employers want to see in people, to make you hireable or to see you get yourself promoted. Be that person who's willing to learn new things, get outside your box, get outside what you're comfortable with, and learn. So I want to thank you for watching what we demonstrated today, and I hope these words of wisdom have encouraged you. But listen, stay mindful of the things that we're trying to teach you, especially you young people. Make yourself a better person by starting with these small steps that we're offering you through our cooking demonstrations and professional skill set lessons. All right, so until then, next time, you take care, have a great day, and God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your day.